Hey everybody, Brian from Colorado Cultures here. Today we want to show you how we use our full flush kit. Alright, so I want to show you what comes in it. So we have our terrarium right here that's going to have your holes that are put in the correct spots for basically good FAE. So it comes with a 3-pound sterilized corn bag that has an ejection port right here. And then it comes with a already pasteurized manure-based substrate, our famous Denver dirt, and 5 pounds of that guy. And we give you a little bottle of alcohol so you have something to kind of clean your hands with and help you clean your tank if you have trouble getting access to a sink or soap or anything like that. Also in the full flush kit, we give you a sanitation pack. So that's going to give you all the little things you might need. That's going to have your trash bag that's going to act like your liner that we're going to show you how we actually put into our tank and cut down. It's going to have our filter patches that we put on right before we go into fruiting. So we give you 2 big ones and then we give you basically 6 little ones to go around the side. That's also going to include a free syringe that comes with a needle and 10 milliliters of our famous Liquid Culture Plus with our isolated mycelium. And then we also give you one of our thank you cards that has directions and instructions, along with gloves and a little mask to make sure you have everything you'll need just to be sterile for that first time that you're going to be growing. So, all right, now we're going to show you how we actually inoculate our corn bag. So we're going to want to start off by getting our alcohol. I always like to kind of give the port a spray so it's nice and evaporated off of there after I've gotten my needle ready. So right after that, we're going to put on our gloves that come in your sanitation pack. I'll do that real quick. I'll put those guys on. And then, like I mentioned, it does come with a face mask. So we always recommend putting that on. Definitely if you don't have a flow hood or it's your first time, just to make sure that you're nice and safe. So I'm going to put that guy on just like that. And then basically we're going to get our syringe out. And you can see I'm trying not to touch it too much. So set that guy there. All right, now I'm going to wash my hands. I always spray one hand and then I wipe it with the next. That way I'm not grabbing my alcohol bottle with a dirty hand. So, all right, now we're going to take our needle and get it out of the packaging. We're going to screw off our top and we're going to attach it as quickly as possible. And just to keep in mind, once it comes out of the package, it is sterile. So there's no need to flame sterilize it when it comes out of this package. So, all right, now taking our needle and syringe, we're gonna take off the cap like that and we're just gonna stab it in our bag and inject all of it real quick. We pull that guy out, set it to the side. I always like to spray it again in case we get any kind of stowaways or any water's kind of coming out that might go back in. So, after that's all completed, we're going to want to shake our bag really well. And this is the key to getting fast pollination. So here at Colorado Cultures, we like to pride ourselves on having very fast pollination times. And I'm talking 7 to 10 days if it's properly done and you have a nice vigorous culture. So, and here, that's something that we try to offer all the time. So after that's shooken, you're going to want to find a nice dark area. And it should be warm. You don't want to get below 70 degrees. So make sure it's, top of a fridge, maybe a closet, something like that. It's mostly important to be in the dark and to have your filter patch up so your mycelium can breathe. So after 7 to 10 days, your bag should look like this. So that's going to be a fully colonized grain bag. And you can see how that guy is white all the way around as well. So, okay. Well, now we're going to show you how we set up our terrarium to get ready to mix this guy with our Denver dirt. So as you can see, it does have open holes and it has been in a store. So we do recommend that you do clean this before you get it set up. So, something I like to use is definitely just hot water, and any type of hand soap would work really well. If you don't have access to that, you can always use Lysol wipes. You can use bleach just by following the directions on the back. Or you can just use isopropyl alcohol as well. And we also do sell that in case you need some as well. And this is 99.9%, so you can make it any consistency that you would like. All right, so now we're going to show you how we get that all set up. So, taking some Lysol wipes, I'm going to basically just pop my lid off, wipe that guy really good. Just make sure that's nice and clean. And again, like I mentioned, if you do have access to a nice big sink or a tub, the best bet would be to use nice hot running water with some soap. I'll make sure that's nice and clean without having to use any wipes or anything like that. So, putting that lid there, I'm gonna pop it back into place, bring it up like that. Now I'm gonna take another new wipe, and we're just gonna wipe all the interior of this terrarium. You can see I'm trying to get into every little nook and cranny in there as well, because that's where all those little contaminant spores like to hang out. All right, okay. Now, while that guy is all evaporating in there and getting ready for us to add our substrate and grain mixture, I'm gonna put the tape around the holes, and that's gonna help to actually catch the trash bag liner so you have an easier time cutting that guy down. All right, so taking our pieces of tape, now this is gonna be a non-breathable boxing tape. So you can use Scotch tape, you can use plugs if you have them, just something that's gonna close off the basically environment inside. The idea is we wanna catch as much CO2 as possible. That's gonna help the mycelium colonize and grow a lot faster than if we actually put our filter patches on first. So keep that in mind. Filter patches go on after everything's colonized and right before fruiting. Okay. Around the outside. All right. So we got all of our holes taped up. Okay. Now comes the fun part. We're going to show you how we put our trash bag liner in there and we actually cut it down to the right size. Okay. Now, taking this guy and unraveling our trash bag. So you can see how the trash bag's kind of split into fourths here. So, you want to pop that lid off. Oh, grab that real quick. There we go. Pop that lid off. Set it down just like that. And we're basically going to take our trash bag. And that center line, we're going to want to get it centered in our full flush kit right here. And that's going to make it a lot easier to make sure it's the same length on each side and it's easier to cut down. Okay, now here is where the fun technique comes into play. Now, just to make sure I'm nice and clean, I'm going to take some alcohol and I'm going to spray everything just one last time. Hands? Okay. Now, take my hands like this, I'm just gonna push down. You see how we're making like a little, kind of like a little nursery tray, you could say. I'm trying to block out all the light from the sides and the bottom, and that's gonna help basically not have any side pins happen, and it's gonna have all your growth come vertically up top. So, doing that, now we're gonna wanna press our trash bag onto those little holes that have tape, and that's going to help to seed our trash bag in there a little bit better, so it's easier to cut. Okay, so before we trim our trash bag down, we're going to want to mix our grain with our substrate, put in the bottom of here so it weighs it down, so we get to cut right below those holes. That's going to be key. All right, so let me show you how we do that part. We're going to take our grain, and we're going to break it up until it looks like little bits of corn again. So don't be scared if all the white kind of goes away. As you can see, as I break it up, it starts to look more and more like corn. Actually, it looks a little darker than corn. That's a good sign. That means there's been a lot of decomposition happening and the mycelium is nice and healthy. So you break that guy all up nice and good. We don't have any clumps left. Okay. Now putting all that back down like that. We're gonna take our Denver dirt. And what I like to do is I always like to get my alcohol. You know, you can never be too clean in mycology. So we're going to basically spray the top of that. And we're going to spray the top of this because I'm going to cut this grain bag right afterwards. So cut that, clean that guy very well. Okay. Now taking our Denver dirt, we're going to just open it up. Get my scissors here real quick. So just going to cut right below that seal. Okay. Also going to cut this guy as well. Okay. Now, open up your Denver dirt. Take a grain. I want to add that as quickly as possible, but everything is going to be nice and healthy. So there's not really that big of a chance for contamination to happen if everything is made correctly and you do have a vigorous culture. So now taking this mixture, I like to call this the shake and bake method. So you basically just shake this until it's all combined and homogenized very well. Now after your grain has been mixed with your manure-based substrate, we're going to add it to our full flush terrarium. So taking that mixture, we're going to throw it into our freshly cleaned liner. And sometimes it might want to fall down. That's okay. Sometimes you got to catch it. That's why we're going to be cutting it. So, all right, now just discard of the bag, just like that. Now taking our alcohol again, let's wash our hands, let's clean our hands really well. And we're going to take our tank and basically just spread that mixture out really well. And remember to keep your mask on just so you don't get any bacteria from your mouth. Okay, now once it's all mixed really well, we're just going to want to flatten it out really straight and even right below those bottom holes. And that's very important that we do that. Okay. Now something I have noticed that helps side pinning is pressing on the sides a little more than the center. That way there's less air that gets to the sides and more gets to the center. That way we avoid all those side pins that might start to come up. Okay, all right. Now you can see it's all nicely mixed, it's all nicely flat. And if you want, you could spray it with some water. In this situation, we're not, because I do believe my substrate's a little hydrated. Okay, so now we're gonna wanna take a clean scalpel and we're gonna basically cut it off like that. If you don't have a clean scalpel, you can always use a box cutter or anything that's gonna be very sharp around. You can also use scissors if you have those too. Just make sure you do wipe them down really well with some alcohol, okay? All right, so taking our scalpel, we're going to basically just cut right below those holes. Okay, so after you've trimmed your bag, this is what it should look like. As you can see, the surface is all nicely even. It's been packed around the sides a little bit. So now you're going to kind of just maybe give it a little mist. You're going to close the lid and we're going to put this in a dark spot for 5 to 10 days or 80% white. That is key. We almost want to catch it before it's fully white. That way it doesn't overmat and we don't allow the baby mushrooms to pop through. So after this guy has been put in dark for 5 to 10 days or 80%, we're gonna basically take it out and we're gonna start putting our filter patches on. So I'm just gonna show you how to put those guys on, basically on a fresh tank real quick. Okay, so we got 2 big filters it comes with. These are gonna be your exit holes. So as your mixture decomposes on the bottom, it's gonna heat up. With thermodynamics, it's going to basically push all that old CO2 out of these big holes. So we're just taking our little filter patches. Those guys are going to go all along the bottom and act as our intake holes. Just put these guys on, and they're nice and adhesive on one side. So as you can see, they peel and stick very easy. Taking that last guy, sticking it right there. Okay, so with all of our filter patches on, we're going to basically take it out. We're going to put it into a nice lit spot with a lot of nice airflow. So we don't want direct sunlight on this guy because it could kind of dry it out and give it UV radiation. So we always like to use an LED light or indirect sunlight. So after that, you should see mushrooms in 10 to 14 days if you keep everything a consistent environment. So thank you for watching our full flush video, and we'll see you next time. Much love.